In the early 1980s, then-unknown filmmaker James Cameron had a bizarre dream. He dreamed of a metal skeleton trudging away from an explosion holding sharp knives. Cameron couldn't stop thinking about this dream and then wrote the manuscript of The Terminator. Director James Cameron dubbed the box office king, with the most popular movies in history like Avatar returning with Part 2 after 13 years of waiting. Unforgettable, his career officially took off from the 1980s, when the Canadian filmmaker bet on the Terminator project. With a budget of only $6.4 million, The Terminator has been a huge commercial and technical success, paving the way for a billion-dollar Terminator franchise and giving Cameron and the actor wings a boost. Lead actor Arnold Schwarzenegger. After a bizarre dream about a killing machine and inspired by director John Carpenter's Halloween horror film, James Cameron completed the Terminator script in 1982. It took him 2 years to convince the studios to invest in this project, and sold the script to Pacific Western Productions co-founder Gale and Hurd for only $1, on the condition that Cameron would be able to direct the film himself. The film is based on the idea of traveling through the air, with the Skynet rebel network of 2029 deciding to send the cyborg T-800 Model 101, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, to time travel back to 1984 to kill Sarah Connor, Linda Hamilton. In the future world, the Resistance is victorious under the leadership of John Connor, Sarah's later son. Skynet sends Terminator to the past to kill his biological mother and prevent him from being born. To deal with the T-800, human warrior Kyle Reese, Michael Biehn, is sent back in time by John Connor himself to protect his mother. The Terminator content revolves around the chase and fight between the T-800 and the Reese-Connor duo. Before the Terminator was released, even actor Schwarzenegger didn't believe in the movie when he shared on the set of Conan the Destroyer that "I'm doing a crappy movie, and it's only been a few weeks." Distribution company Orion Pictures even dared to pre-screen a film for critics. However, The Terminator unexpectedly became the North American box office #1 for 2 weeks straight after its release. With a budget of only $6.4 million, The Terminator was profitable with a revenue of $78.3 million and was on the list of the best films of 1984 by newspapers such as Time or Variety. The art of storytelling, the action scenes, and the appropriate actions of Schwarzenegger in the role of a robot are the highlights of the work. In 2008, this work was put into preservation at the National Film Archive of the United States because of its profound influence on popular culture. As early as 1982, James Cameron had the idea of a liquid Terminator, but technology at that time did not allow him to bring this character to the big screen. After making The Abyss, 1989, Cameron realized that cinematography had advanced enough for him to realize his dream. The result is the birth of the new ferocious god T-1000, Robert Patrick, with the ability to transform thanks to the structure of a liquid metal form. In Terminator 2, Judgment Day, 1991, the T-1000 was tasked with destroying the now-born John Connor, Edward Furlong. The mother Sarah was sent to an insane asylum, leaving the only person who could protect John at this time was the T-800 Schwarzenegger model that was reprogrammed by future John and sent back to the past to save his mother and son. Judgment Day marks many historical milestones. With a budget of $102 million, Terminator 2 has been the most expensive film to date. In contrast, the film marks a breakthrough in CGI technology, with the T-1000 being the first protagonist in cinematic history to be partially conceived by computers. The T-1000's body-to-weapon transformations are applied CGI to surprise the audience when witnessing this character liquefy to hide on the floor or turn his arm into a blade. At the 1992 Oscars, the film received up to 4 Academy Awards for sound mixing, makeup, and visual effects. The quality of the film is also listed in the classics of the action movie series, with many scenes of the chase and fighting dramatically to suffocation. Besides, the father-son relationship between T-800 and John Connor brings depth to the work. In terms of revenue, the film was also the best-selling work of 1991, with $519 million. To this day, Terminator 2 is still considered by both experts and audiences as one of the monuments of action movies and ranked at number 39 out of the 250 best movies in history voted by IMDb site users. The "Hasta la vista" line in the film has even become a part of popular culture. Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines marks the first episode of Terminator without James Cameron in the director's chair. The work is written by John Brancato and Michael Ferris, and directed by little-known filmmaker Jonathan Mostow. Despite the presence of the legendary Arnold Schwarzenegger with a huge salary of $30 million, the third part of the film still received mixed reviews. After the events at the end of Episode 2, the invasion of Skynet has only been delayed but not completely wiped out. In order to ensure victory in the future, this network decided to send another Terminator to the past, a female robot TX, Kristanna Loken, to destroy the future warriors of the Resistance as much as possible, including John Connor, Nick Stahl, and his future wife Kate Brewster, Claire Danes. Once again, the Model T-800 Schwarzenegger was sent back to the past by the Resistance to fight the TX. Commercially, Rise of the Machines is still a box office hit with $433 million in worldwide cum. However, the film's quality is just average, with an average score of June 6, 10 from Rotten Tomatoes. The New York Times commented, "This is a B-movie with silly and clear content." Season 3 of Terminator was also Arnold Schwarzenegger's last film before he took office as Governor of California from 2003 to 2011. After the first 3 parts used the element of time travel, Terminator 4 is set in a future world with humanity's war against Skynet. Terminator Salvation is the first episode to not feature Arnold Schwarzenegger directly. Instead, the film stars leading actor Christian Bale as John Connor, with Sam Worthington personally recommended by James Cameron. However, the lack of the Cameron-Schwarzenegger duo took the soul of the Terminator franchise and resulted in the film receiving only 33% positive reviews from critics and an average score of 5.05 out of 10 from Rotten Tomatoes. The series began in 2018 when John Connor, Christian Bale, is trying to lead the resistance. Right at the crucial moment of the war, he meets a cyborg named Marcus Wright, Sam Worthington. This meeting completely changed the fate of the war. Originally, the producers intended Salvation to be the opening episode for 3 new Terminator seasons, with the context of a future war with the Skynet faction. Reaching nearly $400 million in revenue, the film still received many negative reviews from critics and received the lowest score in the entire series. After the failure of Salvation's futuristic setting, the Terminator series was brought back to the past, but in a different direction with a youthful cast. Genisys still begins with a familiar plot. John Connor, Jason Clarke, prepares for a final battle against Skynet's robot group before sending his best friend, Kyle Reese, Jai Courtney, to the past to protect his mother, Sarah Connor, Emilia Clarke. But surprisingly, the past is not what Kyle or Terminator fans imagined. It is Sarah who comes to Kyle's rescue when he is attacked, while an old-faced Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger, reappears and attacks his younger version. Their enemies in this part are T-1000, Lee Byung-hun, or John Connor himself from the future after being transformed into the T-3000 destroyer. Terminator Genisys welcomes the return of the legendary Arnold Schwarzenegger and gathers Hollywood's rising names, such as Mother of Dragons Emilia Clarke, Jai Courtney, or Lee Byung-hun. However, director Alan Taylor's work continued to be unpopular with audiences, saying that the new story was unconvincing and the idea of turning John Connor into the villain was silly. On Rotten Tomatoes, only 26% of positive reviews are given to the film with an average score of 4.71 out of 10. Metacritic's critics even gave the film a score of 38 out of 100, with many harshly critical. As a result, the Terminator world was once again broken and rebuilt, even though Genisys brought in $440 million in revenue and was the second best-selling in the series, just behind Judgment Day. After many disappointments, Terminator welcomes the return of James Cameron as a producer of the new Dark Fate. According to Collider, Cameron was also involved in the editing of the film and cut the first draft by director Tim Miller, which he said was too long and has a lot of superfluous details. This is also not considered a sequel to the film but is set right after Judgment Day. According to James Cameron, the events of the other episodes played in a different timeline. Dark Fate takes place in 2020 when a cyborg named Grace, Mackenzie Davis, is sent from the future to Mexico to protect a mechanic named Danny, Natalia Reyes. The Terminator sent from the future this time is the Rev-9, Gabriel Luna, a state-of-the-art machine with the same regenerative abilities as the T-1000, disguised as someone else and even able to clone itself. To deal with a perfect machine like the Rev-9, the duo Grace and Danny need the help of an old hero, Sarah Connor, Linda Hamilton. Somehow, she learned of the Rev-9's arrival and showed up at the right place to rescue the two women. Together with Grace, she plans to protect Danny for the future of humanity. Dark Fate initially received more favorable reviews than recent episodes, with Variety calling it the third best Terminator episode ever. The Wrap page gave the film a score of 94 out of 100 and commented, "This is a breathtaking blockbuster and helps Terminator get back in shape." Fierce, angry, and full of violence continue to be the special elements that make Terminator: Dark Fate the sixth part of the hit movie franchise Terminator. Which part of Terminator do you like best? Please leave a comment below to let me know. Thank you for watching today's video. If you find this video good, please like, share, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to support ASK Pop Entertainment to make more exciting videos.